world torn apart by war, many factions quarrel daily to protect their ideals. The dwarves from the Empire, praised for their feats on craftsmanship, known by their powerful sieging machinery. The sons of Algar, always looking for a place to pillage. They are widely known for their cruelty and aggressiveness. The Night Sons, masters of the dark arts which grant them incredible magic powers. The never-ending conflict and the needs of the villagers increased theft, assaults, and raids. During the night, during the day. Famine. After having escaped the capital, the citizens, lost, decided to build their own villages, starting with a little settlement. They even established mines to gather more resources to expand their villages, a dangerous task that carries danger because of the creatures in it. The villagers start gathering even more resources for their villages. And suddenly, a new city was born. The homes they lost because of war were granted back by their hard labor, being rewarded with new houses and jobs. The villagers, having created their own village, start having their own politics system. The constant battles made some villagers take refuge in strategic spots, such as mountains, so that they would survive the incoming battles. Later on, messengers that arrived at the embassies delivered important messages, such as diplomatic treaties, war messages, and news, not always good. The villagers built many fortresses. Among them, they built castles, a place where the most noble class inhabits. Travelers and merchants load their ships for the long travels that await them, not knowing that only ruin awaits them. But not everything was war in Ereloth. The serenity of nature granted their inhabitants a home to establish on. Famine, derived from the raiding and assaults to the villages, forced their inhabitants to go out hunting many kinds of animals to be able to feed themselves. The refuged villagers traveled all across and along the lands of Ereloth, from the deserts of the east to the snowy lands of the west. Malice and despair of the battlefield materialize as ghosts and horrifying creatures. The northern barbarians took profit from the situation, and the villagers, unprotected, succumbed. A sanguinary land where only the strongest survives. Do you dare to rise upon the challenge?
Hey folks, I'm Craig Stern. I'm here to tell you about Telepath Tactics, a game I've been working on for about 2 years now. Telepath Tactics is a turn-based tactics game with highly deterministic mechanics, a little bit like you see in chess. Telepath Tactics is in many ways my dream game. I've been making games since I was 6 years old maybe. I've been making board games and card games and just little turn-based strategy games, and this is pretty much the culmination of that. It's sort of all the best elements I could find from all of my favorite turn-based tactics game kind of mashed together in a single game that supports 2 to 6 player multiplayer. You can build bridges, you can build barricades, you can fling characters into water or lava, drop them off of cliffs, you can stun, blind, cripple, set characters on fire. There's backstab damage, so positioning is important. There's so many intricate systems with their own unique ways of interacting that work together in a really cool way. They'll interlock, and I really think you're gonna like this game. I've been working on the gameplay, fine-tuning it for a very long time. We'll actually have parties where like my friends will come together and we'll play just like on a big map, 6-player multiplayer, and it's a ton of fun. That was how it started out, right, as a multiplayer turn-based tactics game. But part of the way through development, something happened. People just came up and said to me, hey Craig, this sounds awesome, but I really like single player. Can you take this engine with all this cool stuff that you've been making for multiplayer and also have a single player campaign? And because I'm a big softie, I said, sure, let's do it. Let's do it. It'll add months onto the development time, but I don't even care. If it makes you happy, let's do it. So this game also has a single player campaign with persistent characters and permadeath and leveling. More importantly than that though, it supports modding. Use the map editor to create new battles. They can create their own characters, their own items, their own attacks, their own character classes. Custom tile sets are supported, custom destructible objects. Literally everything in the game you can change, and you can extend, and you can create your own versions of it. It's really, really easy to mod. There's no hex editing or any nonsense like that. It's just XML. You just double-click an XML file, edit it in any word processor you want, and it's actually made it really easy to develop the game. But I digress. This actually brings me to why we're running the Kickstarter in the first place. If this is going to be a single-player focused thing with mod support, we need more content. When I first hired the artists that are working on this game, I had enough of a budget to hire them to create all the assets for multiplayer. There's 22 different character classes in the game. We have really good-looking sprite art for them all, but each human character class, for instance, is only one gender. So all bowmen are men, all crossbowmen are women, all swordsmen are women, all spearmen are men. Really, really easy, saves a lot of money. But it causes problems when you go into single player. If you want to make a really cool Fire Emblem style single player campaign, you need a little flexibility, right? There's mod support, so presumably someone will keep adding stuff after it's released, but I want it to release with all the tools you need to make it work right from the get-go. On top of that, we need more music. I want to have a good soundtrack with a little bit of breadth so that, when you're creating your own campaigns, you have a good selection of music you can use. And also for me to use, obviously, in the main campaign. Those are the core essentials that we really need in order to release this game in the state of polish that I really think it needs to be in before I will be happy with releasing it to you. Please, back the game and help make Telepath Tactics all that it can be. It would mean a lot to me, and in exchange, you'll get a really cool game for your trouble. Click the donate button and let's make this thing happen. Thanks so much for watching.